Welcome to the Manders Mindset Podcast. Here you'll find both monologue and interviews of entrepreneurs, coaches, healers, and a variety of other people, where your host Amanda Russo will discuss her own mindset and perspective and her guest mindset and perspective on the world around us. Manders and her guests will help explain to you how shifting your mindset will shift your life.
Hey guys, welcome back to Mander's Mindset. As always, I'm your host, Amanda Russo, aka the Breathing Goddess, and I am here today with a very special guest. I am here today with Dr. Marcia Martin, who is the founder of the Heart Healing Foundation. She is also a spiritual empowerment counselor, a medical minister, a best-selling author, a public speaker. She does many, many things, and she specializes in helping people heal their relationships with themselves. And I am here with Marcia today. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, I'm so delighted to be here and share with you, and just always happy to talk about the energetic realm, the angels, and everything that's possible.
I love that. I love that. So I'd love if we could touch upon who you are at the core.
What a great question. You know, it has been such a wonderfully transformative journey. And so now I can say my core is unconditional love. But oh my gosh, the distance that I had to travel to get to that place is huge. So right from the beginning, let's be clear. Anybody can get there. And when you get to this place, this heart center, all you are meeting is you as the divine, you in your most divine form. So please don't stop. Please don't judge yourself or condemn yourself or say to yourself, oh, I'll never figure out who I am or how to get to this place where I can just be unconditional love. Yes, you can. You are going to have to do the work of letting go of all the limitations that are stopping that from happening. But yes, you can.
Okay. Now, how did you first become unconditional love?
They taught me, meaning my energetic helpers, taught me the practice of heart healing when I was in probably the darkest part of my life. A series of really uncomfortable decisions put me on a trajectory that just was really painful. And so I finally got to that place where it hurt too much to be me. And I was willing to just do anything to find answers. And that quest took me to the library because the funding wasn't available for courses or schooling or anything like that. It took me to the library and in the religion and spirituality section. And I just started reading and absorbing and learning and getting a different education than the one that I had received previous to that. And that opened me up to help. And then the energetic realm taught me the principles of heart healing. And that is basically, you must release, but then replace. So release the toxicity, the negativity, the pain, the hurt, the limitations, the conditional thinking, and then make sure to replace it with something loving. And when I say something loving, energy from the divine, whichever you may call that yourself, just that light of love, allow that to come in and be your truth instead of all this crazy stuff we grow up with and then tell ourselves or somebody else has told us. Let all of that go. Just allow yourself to sink into the light of love and let that be what you are, who you are, and how you identify.
Okay. I like how you mentioned release then replace. I think that's key. You can't just release it without without the replacing?
Well, if we take me, I was probably in my 50s, maybe late 40s. So I had, let's say, 45 years of practicing going in this direction. And was not a nice, pleasant, self-loving direction. So if I let go of, you're an idiot, Marcia, and don't replace it with, you are an amazing child of the divine, hey, 45 years is coming right back the minute I take a breath, if nothing else is holding the space.
That makes a lot of sense. And I think a lot of us, even I'm only 27, but even any of my negative beliefs, they've still been for a long time. It's not something you just picked up. So it's going to be more difficult to just release and it's gone,
Poof, right, no. And we have to understand, we're not in this by ourselves. So mom and dad may not have been really feeling great about themselves, and perhaps they placed that upon you, or the teachers that you had during going through school, or the society that you were living in. We are not in a world on a little island by ourselves. We're constantly being influenced. And unfortunately, society isn't really bent on telling you how great you are. We're getting there little by little. I think we're getting a consciousness that says, hey, I can share a smile, a compliment, a hug. I can lift someone up and feel great and live in a better world. But for most of us, we are still living in a critical world. And so that is dumping on you. And then you're dumping on you. And if you think you can say, well, I changed my mind and it's all gone without really making sure that you've placed what you do want in this void that you've created, it is not fair to you. It is not even realistic. So just get in the habit of letting something go and immediately bringing in something that is desired to take its place.
That's great. No, I think that's really great. I'd love if we could touch upon a little bit about your background, your upbringing, your childhood, whatever you want to share with that.
Okay. Well, it was exceedingly interesting because my parents were parented by children of the Depression. And so there was this overarching vision of there will never be enough, and you must always prepare for the disaster that is going to be inevitable. So money doesn't grow on trees. You never know when you'll get again. Save for a rainy day. It was this inability to really be present in this moment and grateful for what you have because you're too worried about this thing that may or may not come. And so you really have to be aware that you are setting yourself up for success over here. Right here in this present moment never really gets lived because you're too busy preparing for that future because you are remembering the past and using it to identify how your future is going to be. So present was sort of unacknowledged, even though we certainly had more than enough growing up. And there was no financial strain whatsoever, normal family problems. It was not the easiest childhood for me. I was kind of the weirdo in the equation. So that wasn't particularly easy, but there was no financial strain. There was just the understanding that it might be there. And I took that very deeply. And I began living that life of, I must be of great service and expect nothing in return because I somehow felt obligated because the family was doing well. I had no financial problems. So I had to make up for that by being of service and expecting nothing in return. So it's interesting how we warp what others may be feeling. And that was sort of be of service was always a very important ground rule in our home. But I was the only one that came up with that addendum of, if we're doing okay financially, but we're not supposed to be, then I must really have to give everything away and live in penury in order to make my vision feel correct. So I began teaching, taught in a private school, and the salary for my first year was $8,000 for the year. And somehow,
Do you mind me asking what year this was?
let's think, 1980. Wait a minute. When did I graduate college? Oh, now you're making me do
I'm
math.
sorry.
It might be like 1985 or something like that. 83. I forget when I graduated from
That's not
college.
even that long ago.
$8,000. And I somehow still had a savings account. I cannot fathom how I did that, but I lived fine. I lived in Boston, which is not a cheap city. And I had probably 3 jobs. I had babysitting and I had a summer job and I had, go stay at a kid's house when parents were away kind of thing. I had everything going on in addition to the teaching. But I am convinced it was my belief that it was wrong for me to be financially okay because it didn't jive with the money doesn't grow on trees and you never know what's coming next or when you're going to get again or when a rainy day might come. I had so many warped perceptions around what was okay to receive and what wasn't that I had to create a life of struggle to make that be okay. In order for me to navigate, I had to make sure it matched my inner narrative. And being the oddball of the family, I didn't really follow their trajectory. So they were all okay with receiving money. They had really no problem with it, which was such a weird disconnect for me. They had a very entitled mentality. Of course, we're supposed to have this because we're good people. But, money doesn't grow on trees. So I'm like, what's going on here? So I sidestepped the entitled. I didn't feel confident or really self-loving. So I couldn't get on that track. I just got in the struggle track of I'm here to give and receive little because that will somehow make me more acceptable than I already am.
Okay. And how long did you live and embody that inner story?
I would say 20 to 25 years.
Wow.
I'm talking as an adult. Obviously as a child, I am happy to have whatever presents come my way. But as an adult, as I am having to earn my own money, I hung on to this weird poverty mentality that meant be of service, but do not receive because you're somehow not good if you do that. And so I had to create things that would match that.
So how did you start to make that shift?
Life just got too hard. It became so difficult. I was so tired of struggling. And so part of me was like, I don't even like this life. This doesn't feel good. I'm not enjoying being a servant. What in the heck? Can't I be anything else? And I would look around and everybody else seems to be doing okay. But why am I? Struggle. This is not nice. And I just got to the point where everything was so painful that I gave up needing to do it my way and began the experimenting. And then things began coming into my awareness. Somebody sent me an EFT program. Another person sent me a woman who had transformed her life. And then I remembered some of the work that I had done in my master's program, which I had forgotten all about. So I was very involved in consciousness and expanding your mind and really opening up to the energetic realm while I was in my master's program. And we had a professor, only one professor, a professor that invited us over to his home, and we did meditation sessions and healing labs, and I was taking Silva mind control classes. And then graduation came, and I said, that was really fun, but now I have to get a real job. Shut it all down, shut it right off, went right back into my old program of poverty and penury and servitude. And so 25 years go by. I am so tired of struggling, and I start getting handed these programs or, hey, take a look at this, or I read this great book, or that kind of thing. And that helped me remember, oh yeah, there was a time when I was about 24, maybe 26, when I really understood this stuff. Can I go back there? Can I explore this again in a different way, in a broader way, in a way that will actually allow me to own it instead of just casting it away because I hadn't really done the work of ownership?
Okay. Wow. So what did you first start to get into? You said people introduced you to books, EFT. What was your first real step per se?
I think, I was going to say EFT. You know what the first step was? Affirmations. And I have never been so frustrated in my entire life. So I get a hold of affirmations are going to change your life. Like, oh, yes, this is just what I've been looking for. I'm so ready for this. And I've got affirmations everywhere, on the fridge, in my purse, on the computer, on my bathroom mirror. Anywhere there is a space, I've got an affirmation hanging. And I am saying these. And the first week goes by, and I'm like, wow, any minute, I'm going to really feel connected to this or see some result. Then maybe a month goes by, and I'm like, well, isn't it right to keep going? Still disconnected, not feeling anything, sharing it with other people, but same habits, nothing is changing, and the frustration is starting to build. 6 months, frustration is really mounting. A year, I'm like, this is worthless. What a bunch of hooey. Complete trash. Okay, done. Throw that out. Then and then in a minute, I'll tell you what I didn't do, which is why the affirmations weren't working. Then somebody says, hey, I saw this video about EFT, and I'd like to share it with you. So I get a hold of that, and I'm like, ooh, this is pretty good too. This is really kind of exciting. EFT is emotional freedom technique. And I thought, yeah, I can kind of get behind this. I'm feeling a moment where I can take that breath. And I studied this for about a year. Same frustration. I can get rid of the surface, but I'm hurting here. I am hurting deeply. I am not changing the conversation that I'm having with myself by doing the tapping or doing any of these exercises. So fell away from that. But that one got me something, so I would continue to do it when I would remember. But it wasn't until I did that deep dive in that whole religion and spirituality section that I realized I wasn't releasing anything. I was a bathtub full of dirty water, and I would turn on a clean tap and hope that somehow, if I ran the water long enough, the dirty water would overcome by the clean water and I would be sparkling. And it is so difficult to do it that way. If you just let the dirty water out first, that clean water can come and sparkle you right up. But it is so hard to take your negativity, your critical thinking, your criticisms about yourself and the way you are thinking and your condemnation and try to band-aid them or cover them up with, I love and accept myself. Meanwhile, my mind is saying, no, you don't. What is there to accept? We don't like what you're doing. So I had to first go from the mind to the heart. And then I had to release from the heart all of the pain, everyone else's baggage, all of the cultural belief systems that I had allowed to become mine, and then start over. Start with what was true, universal truth, instead of money doesn't grow on trees. Well, what is the truth about abundance? What can we know for sure? How does universal law work? What are these foundational principles that I can get a hold of and start from there to build a better foundation?
Okay. I really like the analogy you used of the water. I'm a very visual person, so like I could picture exactly what you were saying.
I had a dirty bathtub for a long time and I swam in it regularly. I loved being there. It was all that I knew. It was my identity. It was something I clung to. It made me right. So it was difficult at first to recognize this had to go. I wasn't sure that I would be able to like the new being that was going to emerge. So there was some fear in taking off that layer of toxicity. But I want everyone to know that who you are is you as your divine self. You are the entirety of the divine. The divine are not the entirety of you, because each one of us are part of the divine, but you are entirely divine. Once you allow all of that extraneous stuff to be stripped away, all that's left is unconditional love and acceptance. So if you will give yourself permission to let go, like taking off layers of clothing, just take off layer after layer, and you will find that once you're done with the clothing, all that's left is this beautiful, shining self of unconditional love and acceptance.
Okay. What would you suggest for anybody listening for like a first step to letting some of that go and releasing?
Good question. And let's understand this is a process. So first step was perfect. It is not going to be one and done. I know that there are people out there who are claiming that they have a magical formula that if you just say, do, or whatever, what they are suggesting, that your life will magically overnight change. This is not fair to you, and nor is it true. So begin where you are and choose one thing, only one thing. Don't try to change your whole life. One thing that you would like not to be part of your being anymore, and allow yourself to release that. Just give yourself permission. And I would do it from here. Focus on your heart center. Be in the place where you are automatically connected with your divine self and your divine connection. Use the power of that connection and give yourself permission. I'm going to let go of thinking of myself as stupid, for an example. So I'm going to release that I like to call myself stupid. Just imagine that it's going up an escalator, right away from your heart, right to the heart of the divine. Allow the divine to take this energy. We know energy cannot be destroyed, but it can be transformed. So you're going to take this, I'm stupid, I'm always making mistakes, or however you identify being stupid. You're going to release, I am stupid. You just let it go right up the escalator to the heart of the divine. And now you have space. Receive from the divine, I am more than enough. Take something away that isn't working, replace it with something that feels good. Just one at a time, and practice that new way of being. I am more than enough. Practice that throughout the day. Expect that it's going to feel a little weird. You may feel like you're an imposter in the beginning. I'm not more than enough. Just get used to it. Yes, you are. You are not at this moment because you have too many things covering up who you are. So you're not aware of all that you are. But at the core of you, you are more than enough. So just let that be. Let that expand within you. Good will expand. Bad is going to contract you. It's going to pull you down. It's going to make you want to hide. The good is going to begin opening you, helping you see all that you are. Allow that to happen. And if you catch yourself, oh, that was stupid. No condemnation, just, wow, I'm so proud of myself for recognizing that I don't want to speak to myself that way. That isn't honoring. I'm more than enough. Yes, I am more than enough.
Okay. I really love how you mentioned at the beginning of that about choosing one thing. That is something I emphasize to all my listeners and my clients about every area of life. Everybody wants to change everything so quickly. Like, we want this instant gratification in 2024, but it's not likely to stick.
No. And, my own journey, I wanted overnight, instant transformation, a whole redo. And if that had happened, it would have not had meaning. I would not have ownership, and it could have been taken away just as quickly as it came. So understand that when you are willing to invest in the process and take the time that is necessary for you to really gain ownership, no one and nothing will be able to take it from you. And let's be clear, no one has authority over you unless you give it to them. But we are so used to giving it away that it doesn't feel normal to say, no, I'm not participating in calling myself names or cutting myself down or thinking less than of myself. So honor yourself, no matter where you are. But know that by allowing yourself to go moment by moment, you are establishing a much more comprehensive understanding, and it will be easier for you to tap into this and live it than if you just say, I want it now, and if I can't have it now, I'm quitting. You can have part of it now, but you won't own it until you allow yourself to live it, be it, breathe it, fulfill it, embody it, be it.
I completely agree. It's so true with everything. Like, you've gotta. I love how you mentioned be it, embody it, breathe it, everything, all areas. It's really gotta. And I want to backtrack a tad because I love how you also mentioned how even if it does come up, the negative limiting thought, acknowledging it. And I have been someone who used to really beat myself up when it would come back up, but it's being aware, and the fact that you recognize it, you're getting somewhere. Even if it did pop up again, you at least being aware of that is even more than it was before.
I was the empress of self-deprecation. I mean, I was so cruel to myself, so loving to other people. Amanda, don't you look lovely? Oh, aren't you the most amazing being? Marcia, what's wrong with you? Why would you say that? I mean, I was so good at finding fault with myself that it seemed normal when I released I am stupid and then 2 seconds later said that was stupid. It seemed normal to then immediately return to cutting myself down for, see, I told you it wouldn't work. You're so stupid, blah, 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 blah. And then they had to teach me, just give that away too. Give everything away that is not honoring and learn to praise everything, even if it's infinitesimal. Praise, celebrate, get excited, get delighted. Tell yourself how amazing you are for any moment that you can spend moving in the direction you desire instead of the direction that you have been going in for all of this time.
That is so true. Celebrating the small wins that you have along the way is so important. So important.
I used to wait until I climbed the whole mountain to have the celebration. And then I would get to the top of the mountain and I'd be like, okay, well, I did it. Next. So there was never a celebration. There was never, wow, look what I've done, learned, become. None of that. It was just constant treadmill of work, and it became exhausting. And I didn't want to do anything. Big surprise. Had no motivation because everything was work, 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 and never look what you've accomplished. It didn't matter the size of the accomplishment. It's next. By the time I got there, I think I was so exhausted by the time I got to wherever I was going that even the idea of celebrating was too much. So I just pick another goal. Now I celebrate everything, and it's a much lovelier way to live.
I was just going to say that I've started celebrating the small things myself, and I live a better life all around. Like I'm a happier person. I'm a more friendly person to other people. I'm just a more well-rounded, better individual by celebrating the small things.
And you are making the world a better place. You sharing your celebration, your joy, your ability to feel great means that all of the other people in your immediate vicinity also get exposed to that feeling. Now, they may also choose to feel good, to share joy, to celebrate, and then their immediate circle gets exposed, and it keeps going. So just as when we were negative, we would be uncomfortable to be around, as we are positive and joyful and celebratory, people love having us around, and it encourages them to then pass that along. So please don't underestimate how important you being in the world is. You make a difference. And those of you who are celebrating are building bridges for those who have not yet learned how. Please be a bridge builder. It is the most beautiful thing you can be because it honors you, says, I deserve a celebration, and it shows other people who aren't there yet that they too can get to that place where they can celebrate because you've shown them how. You've made it easy. You've created a pathway that wasn't there before.
That's so beautiful. I love that. I think that's so true, though.
And you know what else? I got to just tell you one more thing is when you are in joy, you are more like the angels. The angels are the most fun-loving beings ever. First of all, they don't live in the physical world with all that we have to deal with. And they see all the possibilities. So they just live in this constant state of joy and fun. And so when you are being as they are, you invite them into your space with greater ease. And then they bring their wonderful energy, which magnifies yours.
That's so true. Okay. I want to transition a little bit, and I'd love to touch upon what the Heart Healing Foundation is and how you founded that.
Oh, it's my favorite thing in the world. So, heart healing is helping people recover from abuse and trauma by clearing and healing the energetic heart space with the help of my energetic friends. And so the Heart Healing Foundation was created because as COVID moved in and moved throughout the community, I began realizing there is more and more trauma happening, but there are less and less resources for individuals to meet that trauma. And I don't feel comfortable saying to someone, I'd love to help you, but unless you can pay me X, Y, and Z, you're on your own. So I thought, okay, angels, what are we going to do about this? We have something that can help people move through traumatic situations and move beyond them, but yet keep what they have learned and gain power from being in that experience. So how are we going to meet a greater need and yet not have this high price that may be out of reach for a lot of people? And so we created a nonprofit which says you can come for whatever you are able to contribute.
Wow, that's amazing. When did you create this?
I actually founded it in 2022, and then I just don't know what I'm doing. And so it just sat there for about a year where I kept saying, I'll get to that later. And this year I was so blessed to meet some amazing business coaches, a husband and wife team, and they have really helped me pull it on track. So it was like November of 2023. It started in August where we really got the website functioning, but in November, they started giving me suggestions and guidance and support, and now we're actually functioning. So it's feeling pretty good. Got a board meeting coming up Friday if anybody wants to join us. It's feeling pretty good to see this take shape.
Okay, that's so cool. So how do you help people heal these traumatic experiences?
We go into the heart. I do not believe, now my master's is in educational developmental psychology. So I'm used to the brain approach. That was my whole teaching style, was brain. But they had to teach me, and my doctoral degree is in theology. So they had to take me on that journey from head to heart. And once they did, I realized that when I was effective as a teacher, I wasn't here. I was here. And I was reaching the children here by reaching them in the heart space, by helping them see who they were and helping them understand that they were capable. Now they were able to receive and actually do the work. So heart healing is just that. It is going into the energetic heart space, choosing one traumatic event from your childhood or one belief pattern or some kind of abusive thing that may have happened to you, and getting a chance to look at it, to really see it as an observer instead of overwhelmed by it. See what it has taken from you, but also what it has given to you, and then make the choice. I am ready to release this. I see that it's just this ugly old black blob and it's really heavy and I'm tired of holding on to a heavy thing. But I'm so grateful that I learned that I could be strong. So with the help of the energetic realm, it's the angels, archangels, ascended masters, the Christ, we let go of this thing. It goes up to God. and we bring into that cleared space truth about you, some universal truth about you. So you may be releasing, let's say your parental unit might say something like, "You're so worthless. I'm sorry I had you," or something very cruel, which is not ever an indication of who you are. It is that they are feeling as though they are not enough, and they don't have the emotional maturity to understand that it's their problem and not yours. And so they're trying to give their problem to you as a way of dealing with it. So when you go into the heart, it may look like you're a little tiny speck being overwhelmed by this energy of toxicity or sharks in the water. And because you are there with all of these helpers that love and support you, you know you're safe. You're being held in the arms of the archangels. And so you can look at this and say, wow, yeah, I used to feel really small and it was really hurtful and painful. And I didn't think I could do or be anything. But that is not what I want to represent. That's not how I want to feel about myself. So I'm going to release that. I'm going to let go of that with the help of the angelic realm and coming in here on the light of love, the stream of love. I'm going to remember I'm a child of the divine. I'm perfect as I am. I am more than enough. I am magnificent. And thou create now sanctuary space where that pain used to be. So this time, when I go into the subconscious, I can pull on the I am more than enough as opposed to, I'm sorry I had you, you're worthless. Because our subconscious is feeding information to our mind when we're not paying attention. So we want to make sure the subconscious, all that past stuff that we've learned, is pristine instead of polluted.
Okay. That's awesome. I like how you mentioned looking at it as the observer. I think that's really key, is taking ourselves out of the situation.
And I do believe, just having experienced it myself, it is not possible to go as Marcia into the heart space by yourself and try to confront a toxic pattern or a toxic belief system and think that you're going to win. You're still just you, and you're up against something that you've built into a giant monster over the years. It is only because you have angelic support when you step into the heart space, which is your connection to the divine. It is only because they are there being that bridge of love, being, or that more like a wall of love, so that you can be the observer, that you are able to see it for what it is. It's not me going in by myself saying, I hope I'm strong enough to confront this evil. No, it's you saying, I recognize I can't do this by myself. I'm small. I haven't yet gifted to myself an understanding of who I am. But I have all of these helpers. I have these beautiful beings of love, joy, and peace that believe in me and are going to protect me while I look at this thing. But I don't have to interact with it negatively, and I don't have to release it. The angelic team will release it for me. I'm not alone. I'm not a little speck. I can be bold because I am loved and protected.
I gotcha. Okay. That's great. No, that's really great. And I love that you mentioned like the subconscious, because that is, we really got to tap into that, because it affects, it's feeding our mind so much stuff.
Well, and Carl Jung says, until you make the subconscious conscious, It will dictate your life and you will call it fate. Hey, how much of our lives is spent offline in that well of past experiences that we are not even sifting through, that is coming up to say, oh, you can't do that. Remember last time you failed? No, you can't do that. Clear out that space. Don't let it be an angry dictator. Allow it to be a loving presence of support so that when you do come to do something, or just when you're quietly doing something else and you know you've got those thoughts rolling through your mind, let those thoughts be healing and self-affirming and loving to you, and that will spread out to all others. So you will be a blessing to you and all you encounter.
It all really starts within.
Everything begins within. Because we live in a physical world and, our eyes go outward and we're always seeing things, we think everything is out here and we interact with what is out here. But we need to remember, we are the creators. So what we perceive is what we are in agreement with. Once you change your agreement, I can go on two different walks. I can go on the walk of, look what's wrong, or on the walk of, look what's right. And the walk of look what's right is when my mind is clear, when my subconscious is in alignment with my truth. I see flowers, smell hummingbirds, hear the bird song. No, I smell flowers and see hummingbirds and hear bird song. But if I'm having, for whatever reason, an off moment, I see clouds and feel heavy and think I'm walking in cement shoes. Nothing has changed except me. So allow yourself to be in alignment with all that is beautiful and brings you joy, so that that will be what you see and interact with.
Okay. I love that. I really love all of that. Now, I want to touch upon something you mentioned on a different podcast, and I loved this phrase. I had never heard anything like it, but I'm hoping you can elaborate on it. But you mentioned how children are adults just without the filter.
Children are adults?
Without the filter.
Yes, let's break that up. As we age, it is not that we suddenly become someone that we were not. It is just that we have added on. Let's go back to our clothing analogy. We're adding on layers of clothing as we age, as we have these experiences. And it can either be silk and fabric that feels good, that you want to keep near you, or it can be scratchy burlap and make you feel uncomfortable. So Jesus has told us to be like little children. He doesn't mean having a tantrum, begging to get your way. He means walking in joy, being in a space where you are actively looking for those things that feel good. If we can get back to the place where we are seeing as we saw as children, and the butterfly delights us, and the flowers look so amazing to us, our life is going to be one of wonder instead of one of, I wonder what went wrong. Same person, just a different mindset.
I really like that. So kind of like having that childlike essence.
Please, yes. Childlike is not childish. You are not throwing a fit in the grocery store when they don't have whatever it is that you wanted. Childlike is gazing in wonder at all of the abundance and the miracles that are happening around you every minute of every day. and being grateful that those miracles are happening and that you are able to be present and be part of it. So we don't want to be childish and sad that we're not getting our way. We want to be open, loving, accepting, joyful, delighted, and understand that there's always something wonderful that can happen if we will allow it to happen.
Oh, I love how you ended that. Something wonderful can happen if we allow it to. Oh, I love that. That is so true. I completely agree with that. It's true. You know how, like, what we allow subconsciously, what we think we deserve, what we believe we're worth, it's going to show up.
You can make $8,000, or you can go to a different school and probably make $25,000 in that same year. It's all what you decide you deserve in that moment. Now, this does not mean you're not going to have a challenge. Please don't assume that I say, well, if I just think everything's going to be great, it will never be bad. You would never grow. You want to be challenged with new things that you have yet to experience that are going to cause you to put your new belief system to the test. So you can still be childlike. I wonder how this is going to work out, and still be saying, I really hate this challenge and I wish it would just go away. It's okay to say, I'm not happy that I'm in a challenging situation, but please hold on to that childlike wonder and say, everything is possible. I wonder what wonderful thing is going to come from this. So you're not broken if you have a challenge. You are growing. And actually, when you are challenged, especially if you have had a pretty tranquil period up until the challenge, this is your hallelujah moment. Look at me. I've mastered everything so far, and I have become so good at this. I was ready for a new challenge because I need to grow even more. I'm ready for the next level. I'm ready to bring it on. Look at me. I'm so magnificent. I need to be even more. And that's why this challenge was presented to me at this time. Or it could be, okay, I'm feeling sorry for myself and I'm just getting kicked in the butt because I needed to get reminded. Either way, it's a beautiful blessing.
I completely agree. I completely agree. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. Have you heard of a man named Jay Shetty?
Yes.
So he has a podcast called On Purpose, and he ends his podcast with 2 segments, and I started incorporating mine with them as well. So
fabulous.
The first segment is the many sides to us. There's 5 questions, and they need to be answered in 1 word each.
Okay.
Number 1, what is 1 word someone who is meeting you for the first time would use to describe you as?
Love.
Number 2, what is 1 word that someone who knows you extremely well would use to describe you as?
Love again. It's become all that I am.
Number 3, what is 1 word you'd use to describe yourself?
Kind.
Number 4, what is 1 word that if someone didn't like you or agree with your mindset would use to describe you as?
That's a hard one. All I can think is over the top, so I need 1 word for that. Extravagant. Doesn't quite fit, but I had to find 1 word.
And number 5, what is 1 word that you're trying to embody right now?
Peace.
Okay. The second segment is the final 5, and these can be answered in up to a sentence.
Thank goodness.
Number 1, what is the best advice you've heard or received?
Walk in love. You will never go wrong. Walk in love.
Number 2, what is the worst advice you've heard or received?
Listen to your elders.
Number 3,
I just want to say, just because someone is older than you does not mean they understand as much as you do. We can be different years chronologically and actually older as souls. So please follow your heart instead of what someone else is saying to you that you do not and cannot be in alignment with.
I agree with that. Growing up, I was told so many times, you have to respect your elders. You have to respect your elders. And even the elders that don't even talk to me, I'm like, okay. I'll respect them.
Maybe.
Number 3, what is something that you used to value that you no longer value?
Oh, probably social status. I used to call myself a chameleon. Whatever you wanted me to be, I would be to make you comfortable. I'm just me now. And if you're not comfortable, okay, that's okay. Not going to say sorry. All right. Give you a hug. You probably won't like that either, but I'll offer.
Number 4, if you could describe what you would want your legacy to be as if someone were reading it, what would you want it to say?
Helping others to understand that life can be filled with love, joy, and peace. It is absolutely attainable for everyone, no matter where you've begun. So please don't say to yourself, my life has been too hard. I waited too long. I don't know enough. Yes, you can live a life that feels good to your heart and is filled with love, joy, and peace.
Number 5, if you could create one law in the world that everyone had to follow, what would it be? And I want to know why.
Be kind to others. There is something so beautiful and magical about kindness. And it's the one gift that when we are kind to others, it fills us. And then it allows you to give from that overflowing well of joy. So whether you know somebody or not, smile at them. Whether you want to or not, try to project that you are feeling happy, because as you practice that, or not even happy, maybe joy. Joy is above happiness in terms of happy, maybe something good has to be happening in order for you to feel that way. Joyful is just a state of being. So practice being in that place of joy where you look for what's right and you interact with it and you just keep that train continuously moving forward to more places where you gather up more of this joy energy and then share it freely with everyone. You will be honoring yourself and others.
Okay. Now I have one more question for you. Can you share with us what resources you utilize consistently to be successful?
I have so many books that I adore. They are mostly from authors in the late 1880s. This is the Science of Mind group. So it is H. Emily Cady and her books. It is, hold on here, forget his name. Oh, Ernest Holmes, Science of Mind. And there's one other. Oh, there's also Florence Scovel Shinn. I love these books because they do something that's really important that we might have skated away from a little bit. They hold God to the fire. They love to say, put God to the test. But then they say, but God cannot fail. So if you are not getting the results that you are wanting, examine how you are making the offering. Are you willing to release the thing that is not working? Are you willing to receive something that will work? Are you honoring yourself? Are you being consistent? Are you giving up long before anything can manifest in your life? Are you allowing yourself to interact in a way that will bring you the desired result? So for me, just that whole way of thinking combined with my meditation practice and daily time with my energetic helpers just constantly reminds me, if something is not gelling the way that I believe it should, I put God to the test. God can't fail. So it must be me creating a logjam. And so what can I do? What do I need to know? What do I need to learn? What can I let go of that will allow the energy to flow freely again? And if it is not me, confirmation. So make sure that you always are in dialogue with your divine source. Hey, what do I need to let go of in order for this to flow freely? Or give me confirmation that everything is flowing freely. It's just taking longer and I'm impatient. Either way, you're still in perfect harmony and things are going beautifully. But some things take longer than others. And sometimes you have great resistance to whatever it is that you're wanting to manifest for whatever reason. And so they can show you where you're resisting or show you where you're just being impatient.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much. Now,
Absolutely.
before we close out, is there anything else you want to leave the listeners with?
Well, I'd love to give you all a gift, and that is that you are welcome to go to my website, and I am giving away a free ebook. This is 11 Ways We Resist Angelic Assistance. Sometimes we don't even realize why or what we could be doing that is preventing us from receiving the answer, from moving ahead freely. And this little book just presents the problem and a solution so that you can say, oh, I didn't even think about that. Oh, I can just do this instead. And our website is thehearthealingfoundation.org. Sign up. You'll be added to our mailing list and get weekly inspiration, and you'll have access to the ebook as well. You will have to confirm your addition to the mailing list, though. It's a Google thing, so it won't just drop in. You have to actually say, yes, I want it.
Okay, I gotcha. Awesome. I will link all of that in the show notes directly. And thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me.
Well, it has been wonderful being here. I'm not sure I'd loved your one-word answer questions, but it was a challenge.
And challenges are good. They help us grow.
Yes. Now I'm going to have to think about that. What are better words that I can use in the future?
I love it. Well, thank you again so much. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for being such a lovely host and just sending blessings to all. Thanks so much.
Thank you. And thank you guys for tuning in to Mando's Mindset. In case no one told you today, I'm proud of you. I'm rooting for you. And you got this. As always, If you enjoyed the show, I would really appreciate it if you would leave me a 5-star rating, leave a review, and share it with anyone you think would benefit from this. And don't forget, you are only one mindset shift away from shifting your life. Thanks, guys. Until next time.